life and confidence coach Dianna Leeder, and this is my podcast, the Crave More Life Roadshow. It's here we talk about emotional hits and lovingly kicking our own asses to get through them. Just so you know, it always comes down to being your beautiful, sassy self, living and loving from you, no matter what. So join me to hear about the healing journeys of other women, and you just might become a DIY ass kicker too. Hey DIY ass kickers, welcome back to the Roadshow. My guest today is Joy Resor. Joy is one of the amazing healer authors in Find Your Voice, Save Your Life, 3 Powerful Healers Spiritual Stories. Joy Resor inspires love, peace, and joy each moment she's able, serves clients as their spiritual mentor, and writes books that enliven readers of all ages. Visit her website to read articles for your journey and sign up for her monthly newsletter. You'll find out how to contact Joy in our show notes. Welcome to the Roadshow, Joy.
Thank you so much, Dianna. It's great to be here with you.
It's awesome to have you here. I'm really excited. I said this before we started that I'm really excited for everybody to see that joy that you bring because it's obvious, it's palpable, it's amazing. Yeah, I love it a lot. So tell us a little bit about your chapter in the book.
Thank you. Well, I came up with the title Letters to the Future because I took a journaling class every May and June in Cleveland, Ohio. The year we were moving, my husband was moving me to the mountains of Western North Carolina. That spring, the topic of the journaling class was Letters to the Future. And for me, it could not have been more perfect because I had been getting into a little bit of fear. What am I going to do on a mountaintop near Asheville in this town of Brevard, North Carolina? But writing to those journaling prompts, it was like something in me shifted. And I became excited to live into my future in a new place with a whole lot of trust in my heart that everything would work out very well. And my life has been really amazing to me in the last 14 years that I've been in these mountains, because after 1 year, my husband brought up that he didn't want to be with me. And that divorce was really perfect because, bless my ex, we were unhealed opposites that attracted. I believed that we grow and we change, and I learned that he didn't believe in that. So this is what I write about in my chapter, and that we create our lives.
Yeah.
Because my life is incredible. Everything has happened after that divorce. I've written books, but I didn't try to write them. They arrived. And I think it has to do with this prayer I wrote in my 30s every day for a very long time, that I desired to become who I was created to be. And so this joy that exudes from me and the love and the peace feels like an answered prayer, that I wanted to be who I am.
And that's who you are, right? You are joy and peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what strikes me is that in order to come out of that kind of blip in our lives where where our partners say they no longer want to be with us, that takes joy and peace to be able to process that in such a way that we're not throwing their stuff out the front door and saying see you later dude, and not carry that stuff with us. So you were able to maintain that joy and peace throughout a life-changing event.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also, my joy has increased since that event. But when he told me what he told me, it hit me in the gut like a black cloud. I heard a voice, probably my higher self, saying, take in this darkness. You need it. You are going to transmute it. I had already been on a spiritual journey. I had already been living in synchronicities. I would write about someone in the morning and run into them in the afternoon. But my joy has increased since the divorce because that dear man and I, who we created two amazing young men, we were really opposites in so many ways. And I have been led now to a man who is my soul partner. We are so great together. We are having the time of our lives every day, with so much fun and play. His inner child is awake and my inner child is awake. Everything he does is great. He delights in what I do. There's no ego in this relationship.
Wow, which is not the typical process when when you come through a divorce. And I hear women all the time that are frustrated because they can't find the right man or they can't find a man at all. And yeah, and so I want to kind of circle back to that message that you got about to be with the dark. You will transmute it, obviously, which is amazing. But acknowledging that was real, that had to have been really powerful for you.
Yes, it was. What I did for 5 days, I didn't come off the mountain that we lived on. I was crying, journaling, taking baths, picturing my husband with something that he had told me that had happened. It was very dark then, and it was hard, but I knew that there are people who 15 years beyond that, beyond a divorce, women who are still pining for that husband that wanted to break up with them. They are not living into their own happy lives. Like it only took me 9 months to get rid of the anger in my heart for that man. And to come out on the other side, but also, I think it was before the divorce, I had attracted a man who I had started going out with a little bit. And I use this expression, post-divorce partners. I had 3 post-divorce partners who all grew me up in ways I needed. And I gave them extreme gifts to lead me to be an individual who could attract this soul partner. I would say to anybody that's been through a challenging divorce, the best thing you can do is forgive your partner and yourself for that happening. Realize that part of you really created it. And it's for your good, so that you could love yourself so much that you will attract that next best person. Because I never pined to have a guy in my life. I was a man magnet. For everything I've ever needed, I have attracted everything I've ever needed. And now I'm with a man who I think he was so used to being with very needy women that if I just whisper some need of mine, before I know it, it's arriving in the door. He's ordered it for me. I am so fulfilled in my own life. I hardly need anything. So I think he's just in glee to fill my every little need. And I'm living an incredible life.
Wow. Well, you definitely are. I liked what you said about, how, and I'll go back to calling it darkness, not just what you experienced, but when something happens in our life with our relationships, or whatever the case, it is something that we have a part in. And I say that tenderly, because I believe that we are faced with things and situations and circumstances that will cause us to learn. If there are things that we need to learn to be our best selves, they're going to come to us. They're going to land right in our lap, right? But to know that going through, I think, or even just generally in terms of relationships, I think is such a gift to us. And I don't think it's something that we are always cognizant about. That, hey, okay, it's not as simple as, well, we brought that on, or we could have avoided that. It's not. It's almost it's our tools. It's kind of tools that come.
Yeah, you're giving me goosebumps. And what I love consciousness conversations, because this is what I've come to understand about our lives. A lot of things I've learned, that we don't make mistakes. We don't make mistakes. We could have missteps, and then we learn, like, oh, I don't want to do that. I can't be. I'm watching a friend right now. Her husband died a couple of years ago. And I feel like she's doing what I did. She's attracting different men and having experiences, and then realizing, wait a minute, this isn't the best thing for me. And then she's on to the next chapter in her days, loving herself, taking care of herself, and attracting another guy. She wrote to me. She's off in New Orleans with this new guy. And I know that she's going to find her soulful partner, because she's a meditator. She's a beautiful woman who's learning to love herself more and more and more. And the more we love ourselves, the easier it is to set a boundary, to realize what isn't ours, to know when we need to speak up. I mean, I used to be a person. These other versions of me just make me giggle now. I love the earlier versions of me, because I understand that that's my work, is to love who I was. But I would be in a little women's group and someone would say something, and I would feel in my gut this like a gnawing feeling. And it was a feeling, what I always knew it was I need to speak up.
Mm.
It was, I would get this in my gut to say my truth. And my truth in that circle would always lead to amazing conversations. So it's through loving ourselves that everything happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm getting chills too. And you know, the part that comes back home for me relative to my work is about when we love ourselves enough, then we can honor ourselves and we can pay attention to what works and what doesn't work, to what, you know, what feels good and what doesn't feel good, to those little nudges that, you know, those urges that we get when we're not aligned with who we really are, that then we get to speak up about or express in whatever way, you know, like I don't want to straighten my hair anymore, so I'm going to let it go whatever it is, you know. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, I love this conversation, Diana, because you're right. And in December, I let go of a couple of things that months earlier I felt so aligned with them. These were things for me to do. But all of a sudden in early December, I'm like, I am over this. This is not fun. And I desire to love everything that I am doing, everything I'm using my time for. And even if I'm good at it or you're good at something, but you realize, wait a minute, this doesn't feel great. I believe that's not ours to do. I really believe we are here to love life, love how we're spending our time, who we're with,
Who we're with.
and enjoy the journey. You know, how many of us know people? I know a woman, and it's a little boggling to me because I heard a few years ago that she's staying with this man for the health insurance. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know she's not the only one. And I was a person that stayed for 27 years because I wasn't grown up into who I am. But I don't fault that one iota because my ex moved me from Northeast Ohio that has gray winters and snow and moved me to the mountains in Western North Carolina, where on any rainy day, I am packing my sunglasses. But my life has unfolded, you know, into just such a beautiful life that Michael and I are sharing. And I mean, my kids, when the divorce happened, they said, we don't know what's going to happen for you, but as long as you're happy, you know, and they are, everyone is happy. Mm-hmm. My sons are happy. My ex is happy. He got remarried in 2012. I have this beautiful, soulful partner that I'm enjoying life with. So
it's all good.
Life can get so much better, beyond where we're holding ourselves, where we're limiting ourselves. Like I could tell stories all day. The limits, like I won't go to chiropractic. Well, hello. Because me finding my way to chiropractic meant everything to my body, because that was 9 years after my car had been rear-ended and totaled. So I recommend leaning into newness, experimenting with life.
Yeah.
What could we do differently? What could we let go of so that we will enjoy our days more?
Mhm. And when you think about it, Joy, because I meet women like that all the time who are really having, they don't like where they are, but they're really having trouble getting out of that. And I think we all have been there at some point in our lives. So, what is it that's holding us? It's and usually it's something, it's fear of some kind, fear of what will happen, fear of who won't like it, fear that we will be not, we won't be loved, or we won't be able to survive. I mean, we still live in a world where, where men usually make more money than women do. So, if someone is contemplating leaving their spouse, they're going to be thinking about the financial aspects of that. So, I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I guess I just want to make some space for women that are there too, and know, as you say, you can release things. You can make decisions from your heart instead of from your head, or from the needs that you've had in the past, because chances are they're not the needs that you have going forward.
Yes, and I would also like to say that's beautiful, Diana. And because everyone is having a different experience, and I know a woman who was telling Michael and me how she really doesn't like her life. And we said, well, okay, what can be changed here? Could you go live somewhere else for a month? Might you go to a women's shelter for a month? Because she felt she needed space from, she's with a man who she loves, who is putting her down all the time. She needs a break.
Pretty hard to reach for your inner goodness when, the person who is supposed to love you is treating you like that.
Yeah, and he changed. He wasn't that man when they married. So, but she will not go to a women's shelter for a week. Like, she will not go there. So we need some willingness. If we want to change our circumstance, I think we need a little bit of willingness to take some steps that won't be super great, but they might open us to something. I think leaning into what could open is a good step to take.
What could open, and who we can be. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and even if it's just a teeny tiny little step, going and having a bath instead of doing the dishes, whatever it is, Yeah.
Yes, and I've told her, like, any day she's ready to take a walk, I will walk with her, because she's had some balance issues and she doesn't feel steady. And I said, I will hold you. And that's the
Mm.
other thing I wanted to say, is that to reach out to friends, because I don't think we are ever meant to be alone in our challenges, that we are the supporters of one another. So
We are. Yeah.
yeah,
Sisters and brothers. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Great conversation, Joy. I love it. Love it, love it. Yeah. So when you are mentoring your clients, spiritually mentoring them, What does that look like for somebody? Because people are going to be listening, and if they want to connect with you, they're going to want to know how you actually work with them. So, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Thank you. Yes. I've been given this certification in spiritual direction, which enables me to be a spiritual mentor to people. And it looks very different with each client that I have. It's what that client is seeking that I can provide. We share a 30-minute call ahead of time to see would we be good working together. But I have worked with clients who they 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 overcame perfectionism by being with me.
Mm.
People who leaned into brought play into their family, which led to a divorce, which led to getting back with that person after their divorced person got help for his issue. I mean, everything leads to everything else. And I think everything is connected. So a client has come to me who wanted to understand how to have a spiritual practice. Well, once you have a spiritual practice, this means you are taking time for yourself every day. You are connecting with the God of your understanding. Maybe you're journaling in your spiritual practice and you're realizing something about your life that's not working great. So you lean in everything, you lean into another change. I think I'm a change agent
Mm.
for people's lives. I never thought of it that way until this moment. But my high vibration working with someone else, people have awarenesses and they realize they don't have to live the way they are living because everyone that works with me wants what I have. They want to be at peace. They want joy. They want to love their ex. Um, it's possible. I think,
Sure, it is. Absolutely, it is. Yeah. And you know
yeah,
what I love about what you're saying is that you know, and I can feel this with you, and I have since we first connected. Although we've never actually been together in person, but you know, but yeah, I've always felt that from you. And isn't it true then that you're that any of us, you know, are if we're vibrating high enough, we are going to attract people to that, and as people surrender to that high vibe feeling and allowing themselves to be there, because let's face it, a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to be there, then you know a lot of the negative stuff falls away. You know, so
yes,
it's another tool, I think.
yeah, it is. And that's exactly. And I have been reading a book every day for over 6 years. That is this channeled book from Jesus. It's called The Way of Mastery. And the more we study the word of God or the words of Jesus, or the more we love, I'm also an Alliance of Divine Love minister. So I took an oath to bring the highest degree of love where I am. But the more that we love, ego falls away. Ego is attached to fear. We cannot be in our ego if we are really loving. Like, I'm generous. I'm all these good words that I don't need to name. I'm not, I, I just am that. you know, I can't help myself. When you're an, when you're a high vibration person, you are loving
You bubble,
everything.
you bubble over.
I'm I'm loving life. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm not in fear. I'm planning trips for this year and I'm thinking, well, I'll buy the thing, the cancellation thing. It doesn't cost much because just in case we're not allowed to travel or who knows. But I really believe we will be on the road a little bit and we will be loving our life otherwise every day because we do.
Yeah.
We're, you know, I I really wish this vibration for the world because the more people who are vibrating at a higher vibration, the better the world will, the more harmony we will have.
Yes, I agree. I
the,
absolutely agree. Yeah, and I want to point out too that you know, because everybody has a different concept of spirit, right? For some it's God, some it's the universe, and it could be a number of things, and that's all okay. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It's whatever we're drawn to. But being in that high vibration is and doing our best to stay there is really so connected to our alignment with ourselves, right? It's really just being who we are and asking for what and making happen what we want around us, right? So it really is a very self-empowered place to be.
yes, thank you for naming that, Diane. And it surprised me in December when these things that I was doing came up in me of, Joy, you really don't want to do those. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't. Like,
No.
I mean, I had a publicist. I was on programs. I was on news shows, in cities, like a little 4-minute thing, Joy with her. I did it 3 times and I was good at it and I didn't like it at all. Like, no, thank you. I don't, that rushed TV news thing, no, thank you. I don't want to do it. And I know that he had me on a trajectory, like you do it and then you do it in a bigger market, in a bigger market, in a bigger market. I don't need to be known. I only need, the only thing I need do is the next right thing.
For you.
If when we get off this podcast, if there's a message from someone who needs me to call them, I will call them. Because I have, my life is structured in a way that I can attend to the next right thing.
Mm.
And that is what is mine to do,
Yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. So great. That's it. That's why you radiate. That's it. That's it. So I'm curious about the name Joy. And I understand you have a couple of tales about the name.
I can tell you that my given name is Joy. And for me, my joy was squashed in my family of all that was happening in that family, the anger and the insults and the verbal abuse. So I tucked inside myself and I reached up to the heavens and prayed about my future. And lo and behold, I am this version of myself. When I was in my 40s, I think my mom was visiting and I said, Mom, tell me about my name. And I really thought she would say, oh, you were such a bundle of joy. She didn't say that at all. She said, if you were a boy, you were going to be Roy. And so I am pretty sure that my soul knew everything, that I was coming here to have my joy squashed, that I was going to become a joy bringer in this lifetime. that books would write themselves through me, that would lift up humanity. And so I was a girl so that I could be named Joy.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And I would say one more thing. It was a call inside myself, because when I was in my 20s and 30s and I had wounds, I was carrying them around on my back, like my mother this, my father this, my sister this. I was like, no, this, I need to find a way to not be carrying these wounds on my back, because that's heavy. That's no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really did. I got led. I was led to books, classes, healers to support the growth in me.
Right.
Yeah.
In you and in others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Very, very cool. So, tell us a little bit about your books.
My books. Thank you. I never tried to write one. I would be awakened in the morning to write the first one, and someone said to me, use the lessons of your life to inspire readers. That became my first book, Go Enjoy an Alphabetical Adventure. It's essays, poems, and questions. 5 years later, I felt inside me that I needed to write a second version of this book, to give it a subtitle, a relatable book of essays, poems, and questions to ignite your joy. And also, I'd learned so much more on the path of being a human that I added essays. This book is a little bigger than the first version. They're both inspiring books.
Mm.
And there's a journal that I can't hold up today. I don't have it physically. I've given away all my copies, and it's not being, I guess I could buy one. I could buy one. It's out of print as a physical book, but it's available as an ebook, and it's available. Copies of the physical book are available. I think I should buy one. So
For
it's
podcasts.
called what?
For podcasts.
Yeah, so I could hold it up. It's called Go Enjoy, Venture to Your Center. Venture to Your Center. Journaling prompts to enliven your joy. It's a powerful book, a powerful, playful book that wrote itself through my heart and hands in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Filled with amazing journaling prompts. And then came this book, Designed to Shine, Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart. And it's illustrated, and it's volume 2, also fully illustrated. These each have 26 topics and beautiful illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that these books nurture the inner child of adults. I knew when they came that they would speak to all ages. That's why I put Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart. But then to have older people say, Joy, these books really make me feel lighter and brighter. Would you like me to read a rhyme today or not?
Yes, yes, that would be great.
Pick an alphabet letter, Diane.
Oh, well, let's try D for Diana.
D for Diana. Okay. So that would be dance or dream, or I could read both.
Oh, dance, of course.
Dance. Here's the illustration.
Oh, yep. I like it.
The music outside you to songs that you sing with others or solo. To dance is the thing. It's more fun than ever to let yourself move. Stretch upward, kick outward, get into a groove. Now bend at the waist in ways that feel great. Yes, dance on this day with shimmy and shake. Your body will glimmer like stars at night shine. Then snag a sweet spot to recline your behind.
I love it. I love
Oh
it. I'm
gosh.
a big kitchen dance party woman, so absolutely love that. Yeah, grandkids do it with
Yeah.
me. This is awesome. Joy, so much fun. You're so much fun. And I love what you do. I really do. And I can't imagine the goodness that you are bringing to your clients and the people around you. I know how I have felt working with you, so thank you so much for that. I'm very honored that you are in this book, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for everything, Dianna. It's been beautiful to connect with you and to be in this book with you, this amazing book.
It is an amazing book. Yeah, go find the book, everybody. The Find Your Voice, Save Your Life books and all of Joy's books are all on Amazon. So you can search under the title of the book, or you can search under Joy Resor or my name. You're gonna find them. They're all there. So we would be proud for you to have a copy of them. So, and while I'm talking to listeners, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today. You are amazing to show up. And as I say all the time, just by coming here and listening to the messages that my guests have, you are kicking your own ass. You are, it's just, maybe one little step, and you may think you're here for entertainment, but there's something that comes in that's going to sit, and you're going to feel it, you're going to ponder it, and that's incredibly awesome. So thank you for doing that for us and for you as well. And we will see you next time. If you like today's podcast, hit subscribe at the bottom on your way out, and come find me at cravemorelife.com for even more DIY ass kicking.